Hello, welcome to Michelle Sews Again. I'm Michelle. Today I have a really fun video for you. I am going to be doing a tutorial on how to use a new, well, I don't know if it's new. It's new to me. An 18-piece die kit that you can get on Amazon. If that sounds interesting to you, then please stay tuned. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is a tutorial and a review of the Hiipoo 18 color die kit. This was gifted to me and this is a sponsored video, my first one. And I thank the people at Hiipoo so much for trusting me to do this justice. So we did agree that I would give you my honest review. So hopefully you will find this interesting. What I'm going to be sharing with you today is this tie-dye kit from Hiipoo, and it's an 18 color die kit, and it's a tie-dye, it's a powder tie-dye kit. And I'm going to share with you a tutorial. I did 2 different pieces of fabric and used different amounts of dye, and at the end we'll come back here and I'll share my final thoughts with you. So let's just jump into it. This is going to be a tutorial using this tie-dye kit. It's from Hiipoo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it is an 18 color tie-dye kit and it comes with pretty much everything that you need. And the reason that I wanted to give this a try is because first of all, it comes with 18 colors and it comes with 18 bottles, mixing bottles. So you have one for every color. But the biggest reason is because you don't need soda ash to dye things with this. So basically you're just going to mix the color, you're going to wet the fabric, you're going to bind the fabric, so tie it up in whatever kind of design that you want. Then you're gonna dye it and then you're gonna rinse it and wash and dry it. So it's pretty simple. And so I'm just gonna do a quick tutorial for you to see if the colors come out as vibrant as what my Dharma Trading Company colors come out. So let's get started. So let me talk you through all the things that come in the kit. So as I mentioned, it comes with 18 different colors and there's one little packet per color. It comes with a bag of rubber bands. It comes with several sets of disposable gloves. It comes with 18 mixing bottles. It comes with 2 little sprayers. Whoops. It comes with a plastic kind of tarp that you can lay over whatever your table is that you're dyeing. I've already got a shower curtain liner that I leave on top of my kitchen island, so I'm not going to use this one right now. And then it also comes with Ziploc bags because you're going to put the item in the bag for 24 hours after you're done dyeing it. And then it comes with a little flyer that gives you all the information that you need in order to complete your project. It gives you several different tie-dye techniques, and then it gives you these instructions across the top, which are super straightforward. So, all right, so the first thing I want to do is mix my colors. Sorry, and the other thing it comes with are these little stickers that you can put on your bottle after you've mixed so that you know what color is in there. All right, so let's see what it says. In the instructions, it says to fill to this line right here with water if you're only using half of the bag, and fill to this darker line if you're using the whole bag. So I'm gonna go ahead, well, let me pick my colors first. All right, so we have rose red, grass green, pink, matcha green, yellow, royal blue, black I'm probably never going to use, purple, gold, sky blue, misty rose, chartreuse, dark green, brown I'll probably never use. We've got red, orange, dark red, and aqua. Well, those look like some fun colors to choose from. Let's see. I'm gonna do a rainbow. So, whoopsie. So I'm gonna go with red, orange, yellow. Which green? I think I'm gonna go with chartreuse. I wanna go with aqua and purple. So those are the colors I'm using today. Set the rest of these aside, and I'm gonna take 6 of my bottles and fill them with water, and I'll be right back. Okay, so it doesn't give you any kind of a funnel or anything. Maybe these would pour into the bottles easy without going all over the place, but I'm a bit clumsy. So I have a set of 3 metal funnels that I only use for tie-dyeing. So I'm gonna use the smallest one to pour my dye into the bottle. And to be honest, because there's not a good way to store the dye after you open the container, I'm not going to do half. I'm gonna do the whole thing, and whatever I don't use, I don't use. All right, I'm gonna try one without the funnel to see how messy it might be if you decide to go that way. Actually, that was a lot easier, so skip the funnel. Just gonna clean up my space here real quick. Okay, so now I want to shake all of these to make sure that the dye is fully dissolved. It dissolves pretty good. I'm not having to shake it too much. These bottles seem to be pretty good too. Like, I don't feel like anything's like, I've had other bottles where like barely holding it like this and stuff squirts out. So the bottles seem to be pretty good. Even though they look cheap, they're actually pretty good. Now it's time to fold up my fabric. So you could do this with a t-shirt. You could do it with anything that is fabric that is primarily natural fibers. Now, it doesn't actually say that anywhere in this kit. So I don't know if this works on synthetic fibers or not. I'm just used to my other dyes requiring at least 80% natural fiber. So that's what I'm using here. I have this, it's about 1.5 yards of a linen fabric, and I'm gonna use this to sew something. And I just wanted to dye it up in like a rainbow palette. So I think I'm gonna do like a shibori fold. Now, if I was doing this, if I was doing like a specific color palette, I might actually change out my liner, because I can see there's like errant pieces of dye on here that are being difficult to get cleaned up, and it's going to transfer to my fabric as I'm folding it. But because I'm doing a rainbow palette, I don't think that it's going to mess anything up too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this and fold it up here on the table. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, you can see I've serged the edges just so that it didn't fray. And I have the fabric folded in half. The selvage is over here, and this is the cut end. So the cut sides are together and the selvage is together. And like I said, it's about 1.5 yards. You can see. So I've got it folded in half with the selvage edge together. And I'm taking that and I'm folding it cut end to cut end. Hopefully you can see that here. So I've got, basically I folded the folded edge on top of itself, if that makes sense. So put the cut edges together. And I've already wet this fabric and wrung it out, by the way, so it's damp, but not soaking wet. All right, so now I'm gonna fold it in half again. And those of you that watch me know I'm not a perfectionist, so I'm not worrying about getting the cut edges lined up perfectly. First of all, I don't know that they were cut perfectly, so I'm not worried about that. And I'm making sure that the folded edge is even. And I'm just kind of pressing that out to get out as many wrinkles and folds as possible. And I'm just gonna keep folding it in half on itself and making sure that there aren't a lot of folds and wrinkles. And so at this point, I think I'm gonna do an accordion pleat. So I've folded it in half several times now. I've got as many of the wrinkles out as possible. And now I'm just going to, I think I'm gonna do it catty corner like this. I'm just gonna do accordion folds. The rubber bands that were in the kit, and I'm just gonna put them around here to hold this pattern in place. Usually they slide under the project pretty easily, so I usually just go to the middle first. Okay, so now my my folds are complete, so now I'm ready to dye it. Now's the fun part. All right, so I've got a bin here. This is just stained. There's not any blue dye in here. I'm gonna put this down. It fits in here pretty well. And now I'm just going to start putting my colors on. And this is a first for me. I've never done liquid dye, so this should be fun. All right, I'm just gonna go random. I was just gonna dye this down in the container, but I think I'm gonna lift it up and put it on a rack so that I can do the other side. I'm not used to having to do both sides because with ice dyeing, the ice pushes the dye through the middle. And I'm not worried about matching my colors up on the same side as they were. I think this might make it a little bit more, I don't know. We'll see what it does. Okay, so I think I'm done here. Now what I'm supposed to do is put it in one of these plastic bags and let it sit for 24 hours. So I'm gonna do that, and then we'll come back here after I wash and dry it and show you what it looks like. Okay, now we're gonna rinse it out. The rinsing is clear, so this is a lot easier to rinse out than the Dharma Trading dyes, which take quite a while to rinse before you can even put them in the washing machine. I think I can put this one straight into the washing machine because I'm not getting any residual dye coming out. So you may be able to skip this rinse step and just throw it straight into the washing machine. So this is the finished piece of fabric, and I think that the colors came out really pretty. It's by no means a rainbow palette that I was expecting, but I still think it's pretty. The colors are a lot more muted than I am used to, but I still think it's pretty and it looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna try doing a different dye. I would have by now shown you the outcome of the first one and how the colors are a lot more muted than I expected. It still came out really lovely, but the colors just aren't as vibrant as I would have liked. So what I did was, the way that they tell you to do this is to fill the water line here for half of the packet of dye or up to here for the full packet of dye. What I have done is I filled the water to here and used the full packet of dye because I want a punchier color. So I had to use different colors. So now I'm doing rose red, gold, which it's interesting. You wouldn't expect that to be kind of orangey color, but it is. Pink, sky blue, and grass green. I don't have another purple, so I'm not going to include purple in this one. And I'm just dyeing a piece of plain muslin fabric rather than doing another large piece of fabric. And this is just, I don't know. It's about a yard's width of fabric or a yard's length, but you can see here it's like not very wide. So this is just for practice, and I could probably use this as a trim or something on another project. So what I'm doing is I'm folding it in half lengthwise. And then I'm gonna fold it in half lengthwise again. Okay, so it's just one long skinny piece of fabric now. And now I'm going to do kind of what I call a flag fold. I don't know if that's what it's called or not, but basically I'm just folding it up in triangles from one corner to the other and flipping it under and then doing that again. And I'm going to do that the whole way up the length of this piece of fabric. Okay. So now I'm just going to tie this up with a couple of rubber bands just to keep it in place. They don't provide a resist or anything. It's just to keep the folds in place. Here we go. Let's dye it. I can already see the color is much more vibrant than what it is when you dilute it with more water. Okay, I'm going to let that soak through for a minute, and then I'm going to flip it over and use the other three colors. What I'm doing, the order of colors that I'm doing is I'm trying to mix them so that if they blend with the color on the other side, it makes a pretty color. So I had done the sky blue in the middle on the other side, so I'm doing the red in the rose red in the middle on this side, and hopefully in the middle they'll blend into a purple. I did the yellow or gold on this side on the other side, and so I'm using pink on this side, and hopefully that'll blend to a pretty yellow, orange. I used the green on this side on the other side, so now I'm going to use the gold again, and the green and gold should create a pretty color as well. I'm trying to avoid mixing colors that are going to turn into a brown muddy color. So I'm going to let that finish for a second, and then I'm going to flip it on the sides and start and fill in a little bit on the sides, because I'm not sure that this is going to push all the way through like it does with ice dyeing.
The dye doesn't seem to be like really absorbing into the fabric. It'll be interesting to see what happens when I let this sit overnight.
Now we bag it up and let it sit. So this is the finished piece of fabric, and I think that the colors came out really pretty. It's by no means a rainbow palette that I was expecting, but I still think it's pretty. The colors are a lot more muted than I am used to, but I still think it's pretty and it looks good. Okay, so now you've seen the tutorial, you've seen the final results, and I just want to share that although these colors are, I've said it several times throughout the video, they are more muted for me than what I'm used to seeing with my Dharma dyes. However, with that said, I really do think that this is a really nice kit for somebody who doesn't want to invest a lot of money, who only wants to do a couple of projects, or who wants to just stick their foot in the water and test it out and see if tie-dyeing is for them. Now, what I didn't do was I didn't test these dyes out to see if they worked with ice, my typical ice dyeing. These, I only did the liquid dye version. And I'm really happy with how this fabric came out. So this one, I did the rainbow colors. So you can see there's some of the colors don't really, it's hard to distinguish, but there is a red, a pink, orange, no, a red, an orange, a yellow, a green, a blue, and a purple. So those are the colors that I used, and I really like how the yellow and green mix together. I like all of it. I like the design. This is just a I folded it in half several times and then did an accordion fold on it, and I think it produced a really cool looking design. And I'll be happy to use this in a garment. It's only 1.5 yards, so that doesn't do a lot for me and my size, but I'm sure I can get something out of it. And this linen fabric is from Joann's. It's the Linen Look fabric, and I really like this fabric a lot. I made my Wildwood wrap dress out of this fabric, and although I don't love the way that that dress looks on me, I do love the feel of the fabric. It's really nice. It really doesn't wrinkle much, so I definitely recommend this fabric, and it takes dye really well. It took my other dye really well. It took this dye really well. So yeah, I like the fabric, and I'm happy with how that came out. The second piece that I did, I reduced the amount of water and still used the whole packet because I wanted a punchier color, and that's what this one did. So I did this one in a shibori fold, and I do think that the colors came out more vibrant in this one. Some of the colors didn't really show up. I had a gold in here and I don't really see that. I guess it kind of got taken over by the other colors. but I think this design is really cool. I will use this for a panel, probably in like a color block shirt or something. I think that'll come out really cool. So I definitely think that there are options depending on how dark or how vibrant or how muted you want the colors. Just make adjustments with your water to dye ratio rather than just strictly sticking to their formula, which is basically the whole bottle of water to one whole packet of dye, or half of a bottle of water to half a bottle of dye, or half a packet of dye. So make adjustments based on how dark or punchy you think you want the colors. But like I said, this did not require any soda ash. So in my normal tie-dye or ice dye projects, I have to soak my fabric or my garment in a soda ash solution, which is 1 cup of soda ash to 1 gallon of water, for at least 20 minutes before I can start the dyeing process, because those Procyon dyes require that soda ash in order to adhere to the fabric. You don't have to do that step here, and you get the 18 colors, you get those bottles. Those bottles were actually really nice. As cheap as they looked, they actually, the cap fit on really tight, so when you're shaking, you don't get little bits of dye leaking out. I was actually pretty impressed with the kit. So I recommend it. I will put the price on the screen because I don't know off the top of my head what the price is. It is available on Amazon, and I would love to hear from you if you think that you might be interested in this. And if you do decide to get it, then and you have either YouTube or Instagram, then let me know in the comments that you've made something, and I'll go and check it out because I'm excited. Or even better, if you post it on Instagram, then tag me so that I can see it and give you a thumbs up on your project. So that's all that I have to share with you today, and I hope you enjoyed this, and let me know what your thoughts are. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.